Hello, so I'm here with Heather, one of the Lovely Canva Crew team members, and she was asking for some help with a flyer that she's been working on in Canva, and I thought it'd be really useful to make some changes, but do it live with this recording to just sort of show the things that you can do, sort of some fast fixes, as it were, to improve the design. But as well, I'm really going to focus in on making sure that your file that you're working on in Canva is print ready, and some tips on that. So Heather's going to stay for a bit and then she's got to dash off. So if need be, I'll continue. And in the meantime, I'm going to share my screen because I've already logged into Heather's Canva account. So you've done a few bits here. Is it the blue one that's...
I think there's one missing actually, because there was a dark one with a darker one at the top and a lighter one at the bottom.
Oh, okay. So is it not this one then?
No.
That's darker at the bottom and lighter.
Yeah, I think I did a version, but it's obviously not saved it. I think I was looking to did one where I switched it was darker. It was perhaps that one, and I've saved it incorrectly. Yeah, I've saved it as green incorrectly. So it was that one, but with the dark blue at the top. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll make a copy of that one, and I can copy the darker blue colour.
Yeah.
Make a copy.
I carried on playing around with it after I'd sent it to you last night.
There we go. That's fine. I'll call it Lovely. Okay, so you wanted to have this sort of darker colour at the top. Let's see if we can, yeah, we can paste that in there. Okay, let's go a bit bigger. So, well, maybe a bit big. So talk me through sort of what you've done here. So you've got a picture of yourself. Mm-hmm. You've got your sort of name there.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing, I'm going to fit it. The biggest thing I thought on here that I felt could do with improving was that there was lots of different fonts here, and yeah. I know why you've done it. Yeah. To sort of make it sort of look a bit interesting, but actually what happens is it can be a little bit too much. As a rule, I would say try and stick with a couple of fonts and not go too mad with it. So if I just sort of zoom in back in again. So here on you've used the font Magnolia Script, which is quite a soft font. So I would then pair it with something that's a bit more kind of cleaner and classic, sort of something called a sans font, and that just means there's no kind of sort of additional detailing to that text. So this is technically a sans font. You can see it in there, but it's quite a chunky font. So ideally you want to pick something that's got lots of different font weights for it. So I've just recently used one called Mooley. So you know, for the sort of, because of time, let's go with that. So there's, if you can see, thankfully it's available in free. There's Mooley Black, Mooley Bold, Mooley Extra Light, and Mooley Regular. So that's really useful to have as a sort of body font, or as your main font, and then keep the flowy font as your, you know, to use more sparingly. So if I make it all Mooley, there we go, Mooley, make it all regular. Because you've already got the different sizes going on. So I think because of that, to have it the different fonts as well is a bit too much. I mean, and that's just my opinion, you know. So let's make that a bit smaller. So something to keep in mind is making sure that you've got a good amount of margin round. You don't want to have it anything too close off to the edge. So just sort of, if we move that bit of text where it's Chinese cupping, we'll move that over. We could maybe make it a bit smaller, but use one of like the other weights of Mouli. So that's still giving that multi feeling, but it's kind of rained down a bit more, so we can have it like in black. So what's the most important thing that you do? Is it kind of in order?
Yeah, I've kind of put it in that order, really, to be honest.
Okay. So so here I can see the picture that you've got of your practice space. There's not an even space. I'm like going to point to it. I can't.
No, fine.
But on there, it's not quite even. So I would maybe move it over a bit. Your text there looks like it's fairly even. So what we would do is just make sure that anything that's on the left-hand margin is lining up with that bottom image. So if we make core therapy, if we range it to the left, and then we can line it up. So you can use the pink thingies will show the guides, not thingies. So that comes up, and we can do the same on the other side. But I just wanted to move forward to the issue of legibility on here. So the white text here is working really well. The sort of navy colour here is fine because you've got kind of lighter sort of sky blue at the bottom.
But not at the top,
yeah. It's a bit of an issue here. So yeah. I would actually make these white.
Yeah.
If not white, maybe a light blue, but it probably would need to be quite a lot lighter. You could maybe have or have that in the light blue that we've created. Probably put a touch of Heather in white. So let's fit that and see. So you can read that a bit more. I mean, you could have it all white, but it doesn't really matter, to be fair. And then on here at the top, I would also move that with bit over because it just fits it nicely. So on this design, I'm kind of thinking with the circles that it's sort of something sort of missing a bit. I think you kind of need something a bit added to it. So I'm thinking, and I'm just going to have a little play here of adding a circle, making it white. I'm going to make it transparent, and I was thinking of sort of kind of having it underneath the image somehow, just trying to add something there. I mean, I'll do it. If it doesn't work, I can just take it off, but I just feel like it could do with something there. Or it could be like, I know in your existing logo, you've got quite a floral image there, haven't you? Because I think your name, your business name is so pretty, you know, with the Heather, because the way you've used it, it's sort of like Heather as in the flower.
But the Heather flower, I don't actually like. It's because it's kind of really prickly, and I don't think it's a particularly. Everybody says, "Why don't you have Heather as a logo?" And I'm like, I don't like the flower.
Yeah. I guess that we could see if there's like a meadow flower. They're too.
I think I wanted to stay a little bit away from flowers for the sake of the leaflet, but
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. But yeah, I just sort of felt like it kind of. I mean, normally I'm like less is more.
Yeah,
In this case, I just feel like it, like those images need some sort of anchoring. But I mean, I don't know if they're like the circles is necessarily the right thing. It's just sort of sometimes you just have to like give things a bit of a go. And again, it's just sort of like trying to think about the sort of hierarchy of things as well. Might make that a bit wider. Actually, what I'm thinking I might do is if we move that to that side, with that off there, we can have a bit of a diagonal it sort of balances it.
Yeah.
And it also just sort of means that the I quite like that it's sort of underneath your image a bit. So what are your thoughts or sort of with me sort of?
Yeah, no, it looks nice.
Say here.
No, it looks nice.
I mean,
okay, you like this is my first real thing doing it on Canva.
Yeah.
So just it's just interesting to see what you can do.
That colour? Yeah.
I like that better with in the dark on the top left hand corner.
Yeah, it sort of ties
balances it with the address, doesn't it?
Yeah. And then just need to make sure there was a little space there. Let's move that over a bit. So sort of visually. Yeah. So I mean, I can do a little bit more play, sort of fine tuning that, but I'm sort of conscious of that you've got to head off in a minute.
No, I'm all right, probably all right for another 5 minutes if you.
Okay. So yeah, so I think let's make core therapy quite chunky, and make massage, as that's quite big, make that in the light, extra light. And then we just need to make sure that I move that over. So it's sort of kind of even. I mean, you have got things that you can, like guides and stuff, but sometimes it's just sort of looking at it and go, does that look right? Because sometimes you have the sort of trick of the, not trick of the light, but optical illusions of it. So I'm going to move that over to that way, do the same with that. Move that over. And it's just sort of about spacing it out to sort of what sort of looks right. So you're getting that sense of the sort of the energy that you're putting there.
Can we make reflexology a bit thicker?
Yeah.
So there's one in the middle a bit.
Really make it bold.
Yeah. Don't know what you think.
Yeah. I mean, what we could do is make all those ones there bolder, and then there's a sort of bold light, and it's all about thinking about where your eye is traveling and what's the most important thing for people to sort of see. There's that hierarchy there, so there's already that considering the that core therapy and massage is very important. So you read it first, and because some people just read one or two and go, oh, okay, and other people will read through because it's not masses of text there, so that's that's fine. So we're going to make that a bit bolder, and we can make that Chinese cupping lighter. Maybe not that light. The other thing is to consider is when you're doing something where it's white text on a coloured background, particularly a very dark background, you don't want to go too thin and light with the text, because when it goes to print, it will fill in a bit. The ink itself will shift and settle, a bit like if you sort of spill some water, it spreads out a bit, and the ink does the same. So it will look slightly thinner because of that. I'm going to space that text out a tiny bit. So that's sort of how that's sort of coming along now.
Yeah.
And then just sort of making sure there's a bit of space. I moved the sort of the bullets, as it were, the list of therapies down a bit to give a bit more breathing space for your kind of your sort of temporary logo, or the name of your business at the top. I think that's a really nice image of yourself.
Obviously a long time ago now, because I haven't got the white streak.
Oh yeah, so yeah, it's important to sort of have an up-to-date logo, but again, it's just about getting it done.
It's just a now.
But it's a nice, it captures your nice smile and everything. It's quite nice that the colours in the back sort of tie in with the image a bit as well. So yeah, I think that I'll probably do a bit of fiddling after, but I think I'm quite happy with that. And it sort of has moved it along from what it was. Are you happy with that generally? You've gone quiet. Or were you frozen? Hello. Okay, I don't know if we've lost Heather there. So what I'm going to do. Hi, I don't know what happened there. Apologies. I think
that's right.
Something to do with Zoom, but it's hopefully will be okay. So I'll have to share my screen again.
So I probably need to go now.
Fine. Can you see my screen okay though?
Yeah.
All right, well, what I'll do is I'll bring in some of the elements that I've done on the first page into the back, like the circles, just making sure things are legible, just sort of do some bits just to sort of make it a bit, just make some improvements that as I see fit. And then I'll
just irritate you. That just would irritate you if they were.
Yeah. So I'll continue with that, and I'll talk through a few more design principles. So I'll be uploading this onto into the Canva group later, so you can have a little watch of like what I continue talking on. But yeah, I'm glad that you like sort of what we've done with it. I can show some before and afters, but you did a really good start.
It's just little bits of things that you wouldn't necessarily think of for somebody just coming in to do this. It's nice. Thank you.
Yeah, and you know, it's really easy to kind of beat yourself up. You know, we all sort of do that on different things and think, oh God, you know, this isn't great. But you know, this is what I do. I'm a trained designer. I can't do like core therapy and reflexology. You've trained to do that, but you know, we can, with some very small changes and the things that you can learn by being in the group and any of the calls that you join, it just means that you can improve that and just have a better you know, finished product, and so yeah, good.
Thank you.
Right, well, thank you for joining me. I'm going to continue fiddling and with the design. Have a good Friday.
All right, and you, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. Right, so I'm going to continue. So as I said, so I've done the first sort of page of the flyer. This is a 2-page flyer. So what I will do is bring in some of the other elements here. So I like the sort of circle thing. Make sure I'm on the right page. Position to the back. Do the same thing of moving the word with over, just because it just helps with the how that looks. I might make that a bit bigger on the back, a bit more prominent. I might actually add another one of these sort of semi-transparent circles and bring that sort of maybe there. Might make that even quite a big one, and that'll go under. Position that to the back. I think it'd be good to have this image bigger, and I might actually be a bit crazy and offset it there. And it's all about, as I've mentioned earlier, it's all about hierarchy. So it's about sort of seeing what you want to make more prominent. So I think I might even make that a bit bigger, even so, and then make that a bit smaller. So it's trying to vary it. I don't want these 3 circles, the image circle, the special offer circle, and the sort of added detail one, to be the same, visually the same size. I want there to be a bit of variety. So that's why I'm sort of trying to twiddle it about. All my technical terms here. But it's just about seeing what looks right, taking a view on it. So I'm going to copy this white faded out circle, bring that in here, because one of my big bugbears of putting a white logo on a coloured background is having that big block. It just drives me mad, quite frankly. It's not a good look. So what we'll do is we'll probably move that down so it's in there, and we'll make this 100% solid, so that it sits there. There's no longer that visual white block that we had before. Let's put there. So we also need to bring in sort of some of this text here, the Mooley font, because it's too much on here. There's like the sort of font is just too much. We want to have a bit of variety as well. So it's trying to get that balance, really. And I'm going to arrange it to the left. Let's make it Mooley. There are lots of other great sort of fonts, which are Sans font, which is the sort of more simpler font. At some point I'll do a little video and talk through some of my favourite ones, but this one just sort of came to mind because it's something that I've used recently, so it's just easy to bring that in. With this one, I think because there's less on it, I might have a slightly bigger margin around sort of, and by margin to sort of a gap around a sort of safe stone, if you like. And we can make that a little bit bigger. So on this page, we've got the blue colour, the sort of navy here. So it's important that we do the same on here, so that there is, you want to have that a bit of consistency. It's design is, in simple terms, is just sort of good design sort of is a little bit of lining things up, thinking about hierarchy, what's the most important thing you're looking at, and consistency. And when you sort of have an element of that, it all starts coming together. So we can make a touch of heather. The can make it italic. Oh, I didn't do. The italic's not very clear on there. Make it a bit bolder. Let's. Ooh, didn't mean to press that. Right, let's have a look. So I've made a touch of heather a bit bolder. The other thing we could do is have it so it's this magnolia font and put it in there, make it white. And I'm going to move that over. So I'm just sort of cheating it a bit, because you can't have two different types of fonts in the same block, or at least you couldn't, you used to not be able to. It may have changed recently, but when I've been trying to do it, it doesn't like it. You have to have in the same block the same one. So it's a bit of a cheat in the system, as it were. So now you can see, I'll sort of move in a little bit more. So you can see that I've added the nice sort of font there, the sort of more swirlier font there. So Touch of Heather aims to provide a treatment that will help you with your aches and pains, stresses and anxieties. Provide a lovely, oh, there's an extra space I can see there. Environment to aid your relaxation. I think I might copy that. Oop. No, I've copied it down there. I was like, where's it gone? It's down there. So I'm thinking we need another image, which is more of a treatmenty image, because we've got the, I think I might swap these over. Right, when you are sort of trying some different things out and you're not sure what to, sort of where you're going with that. So here I'm at a point where I think it should have some sort of massage type sort of look there in the big image, and then we'll make the oils picture smaller. Again, thinking about what's most important, people are going to want to get a sense of the sort of that relaxation. So if you want to move it along, rather than me sort of play around with that and then go, oh, actually I prefer it how it was, I'm going to copy the page so it duplicates it all, and then it means that I can swap it around the emphasis. I'm actually going to copy that big one because I'm going to see what images are available in the free one. So I'm going to delete that image and move that one forward. move the text. Ooh. So if you've got how I've done it there, it's quite a good idea to group that so you don't worry about losing it when you're moving it. So I'm going to move that down. I want to have a bit of breathing space, just a bit of, it's called white space or negative space. That's just, you don't want to have everything squished together, so it's just moving that up. So let's have a look at what images we can find. Relaxation. So some of the images, we've got this one. Don't know about that one. I guess you want to, I want to find something that is sort of similar to the picture of the treatment room, you know, to get a sense of that it almost could have been a photo taken in that setting. Let's try massage. And then sometimes it's just about giving it a bit of a go and seeing what works in. So I'm just sort of popping that in and seeing how that looks. Maybe that one would be better. Oh, there's this one. I wasn't sure I liked the sort of picture of the face there. And it's just sort of about trying to sort of get a sense of what's here. Because there's always that problem when you're using sort of stock photos that, you know, it's quite obvious that it's a stock photo. So it's just about, you know, there's nothing wrong with using, well, just be careful when you are picking sort of stock photos. You want to make sure that it looks good, that it's relevant. Don't necessarily just sort of pick the first one. I think I would prefer it if I could flip it, but it seems to be that I can't flip it in when it's in an image. So this is the thing with Canva, is that you do have limitations. So I really want to have that on that side. So I'm going to actually move this bit over and move that over so that I can have that sitting on there where I want it to. Might make it a bit smaller. And then bringing that over, and just, again, it's just about sort of trying to make sure that there's a hierarchy there to what you're showing. So we've still got the treatment image, the sort of sticker, and move it over a bit more. See, and you know, have a look and see how it looks against the other page, because we want it to still fit in. I'm sort of tempted to sort of have it so it's not touching that, and I'm not sure if I like that. So it's just about experimenting and seeing what works and what doesn't. So I feel that it would be useful for these elements to overlap slightly because it brings them together. But I think I might make this more transparent. And I might make it smaller as well. So it's there and it's anchoring it to that top corner, which helps provide balance to where that logo is at the bottom. The accreditation logo. And again, just making sure that it's all got the margin that's coming along. So I'm now going to look at the bottom here, because if we look at the bottom here, we've done it so it's ranged off. Okay, thank you. All right, bye. I was trying to pause the video and I just paused the share. Sorry about that interruption. Okay, so I think I'd like to make that a bit, sort of change that. So I'm going to send that to the bottom out the way. And I think I'd like to keep, so make the email address and that text smaller. Yay, I can do that. Again, for consistency, I think I would like, I think I might make that bigger. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this over. I'm going to make the spacing a bit wider as well, but not too much. Again, just sort of doing it by eye. And then I'm going to copy and paste it here. Line that up. And visually line that up with the bottom. Is that lined up? Yeah. The door going gave me a fright. Okay, let's zoom out, fit to the page. So we need to put this bit of text somewhere, I think. But the question is where? Because it's sort of trying to get that consistency. So I've got a touch of Heather there. What I'll do is copy it from here and see where I can put it on here. Aha, I have a cunning plan. So what I'm going to do is have it here, and I'm going to ungroup that, and I'm going to put, I'm going to change the text a bit and put, we aim to provide, and I'll bring that out a bit more. And make it a bit smaller text, just so I can fill it out a bit more. And that's nice, because then we can move that down. Oh, it can actually go down there, I think. Size, I have it there, 21.5. Yeah, I think I'm quite happy with that. So just to sort of, let's see if I could open up the what was there before. Copy that, because right. So on the first page, it was like this, and then that's what I've done. So I might do a bit more tiny bits there, but that's what that's looking like. So we're just making sure that everything is, there's enough contrast with the words, you know, that any letters on the background. We've added some additional kind of bubbles as a bit of a design feature, just to kind of anchor those images a bit more. We've got a bit of sort of energy in terms of how your eye will travel. So there's a sort of a bit of a zigzagging as you sort of start at the top with the treatment offer, reading the name of the business, and then the massage treatments that are on offer, her details, and then this is the reverse that I'm quite happy with. And this is what was on the back there. So there were some issues there where the logo was on, you know, it comes on a white background, so it just sort of looks a bit plonked on. The wording there, the letters there was white on the paler blue, and so that's not as easy to read. And then the reverse there, where it was the dark blue on the darker blue background, and then there's just too much of the sort of flowy font here. And then just also on the front here, there was too many different fonts going on there, and I know why Heather has done that, because it's trying to make it a bit more visually interesting, but it doesn't work, in my opinion. Sometimes it can, but in this case I don't think it does. And it needed a sort of a simple modern, you know, clean font that would balance with the very flowy font that she's used. So this is why I've used this font Mooley, because it has different weights there, and it just means it's going to, you know, you've got enough of a variety. So if she was doing something like a brochure where there was a lot of text, using that Mooley font will just help with making sure that, you know, you can have it in a sort of in a regular font and then have headings in bold, and then you would just use the Magnolia font, this sort of more flowy Magnolia script, just used sparingly sort of for, you know, this is a great font for using for like testimonials, if you're quoting people, that it looks sort of a bit more kind of handwritten almost. So that's there. Okay, so I'm going to talk a bit about the sort of printing side of stuff, and the importance of that. I'm going to stop this video though and do it as a separate video, so it's a standalone. So check out the other video and see from there.